husband woke up at 5 in the morning and packed a duffel bag, so I asked him where he was going. My mom's, like I do every Christmas. He said it like I was dumb. But it's our daughter's first Christmas, I said. But he was already at the door saying, this is more important. I looked at our daughter in her crib and decided I wanted to know what was more important than spending Christmas with his daughter. So I strapped her into the car seat and drove to his mom's house. But nothing could have prepared me for what I was about to find. When I looked through the window, I had to blink twice because my 35-year-old husband was on all fours wearing a onesie with a reindeer on it, crawling toward a wrapped present, while everyone around him made explosion sounds with their mouths. I had never felt so confused in my life, but it got worse when his mom got down on her knees beside him and hand-fed him a bite of cinnamon roll. Then she wiped his mouth and burped him. Thanks, Mommy, he grinned. I groaned in disgust, wondering what I was watching. Then someone in a full Santa costume sat down in the armchair, and my husband got to his feet and launched himself onto Santa's lap. When Santa asked him what he wanted for Christmas, he giggled, "A puppy!" Everyone laughed, and Santa rubbed his head and said, "Okay, buddy, my elves will bring one to you tonight." Yay! My husband clapped his hands like a little kid. I didn't even know who I was married to at the moment. I looked at my daughter babbling in my arms, spit on her mouth and snot running down her nose, and she somehow looked more mature than my husband. When I looked at the window again, my husband noticed me, and his eyes went wide. He got off Santa's lap saying, "I be white back," like a little kid. He came outside and he looked angry now. "What are you doing here?" he asked, sounding like a 35-year-old again. Better question, why are you pretending to be a little kid? He crossed his arms. Christmas morning is the only thing I have left from before my life got complicated. What does that mean? I asked. He groaned and wiped his face. I need one day a year where I'm not somebody's husband and I'm not somebody's dad. A day where I can be a kid again. I pointed at my daughter in my hands. Say that again while you look at her. He knelt to my daughter's eye level, and even though she smiled and did grabby hands, my husband stayed stone cold and said, "I need one day where I'm not your dad." I looked at him kneeling there. "You're allowed to want a day off. You weren't allowed to say it to her face." I walked away, and as I buckled my daughter into her car seat, she waved at the window and said her first word, "Dada." I closed my eyes, feeling disappointed that her dad missed her first word because he wanted to be a kid today.